Hey, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I hope you are doing well. I'm excited to jump on and share some insights with you about visibility. And this is going to be a chilled live, right? So I've got, what do I have? Red Bush. I have some Red Bush tea. Just a quick break uh, from my daily activities. So I've jumped on live to share with you. I'm just checking that the tech is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And it looks like it is. So if you are on live, would you say hi and just let me know that you can see me and you can hear me? That would be awesome. How's your day going as well? All right, so I can see that LinkedIn is doing its thing. Okay, IG is doing its thing as well. All right, guys, let's get into it. So let me know if you're on live, say hi. I do want to greet you, but literally I'm going to be on for probably like 10, 15 minutes max, right? I can see 4 of you are on. So happy Tuesday. I want to speak about what I'm calling visibility anchors, right? And these are things, there are 10 visibility anchors that I'm going to speak to over 9 days. So I'm committing to going live each day to share one of these anchors. I'm not entirely sure what time I'll be on, but when I set up the live, then I'll obviously add the time. So let me know. I said cocoa. I said I was going to have cocoa, but I actually felt like Red Bush. So let me know if you have your hot drink. What are you sipping on? Do let me know, right? I'm going to begin because, as I said, I'm not going to be here for long. So I'm going to be on every so for the rest of this week, so the 4 days, and then all of next week, right? On Friday, I'm going to be sharing 2 visibility anchors. So if you stay with me through the series, then you'll walk away with a visibility plan in essence, right? So you can step into 2026 with something that feels doable, that feels achievable, and I would guess for the majority of you is long overdue. So let me know how that sounds, if that sounds of interest. Oh my gosh, I didn't open the chat. All right. Hey guys. Hey Jackie, good to see you. Hey Janet, I hope you're doing well. Ruth, good to see you, sweetie. We were supposed to have a conversation about photos, I think. Yeah, we'll get around to it. Leonora, how are you, lovely? How are you? And Jackie says, I'm enjoying lukewarm coffee. Okay, I don't know if enjoying and lukewarm go together. Having said that, they sell iced coffee. So, yeah, I guess lukewarm coffee could absolutely work, right? But let me get into it, right, guys? Do you have a plan for your visibility? What I want to share, these anchors should ground you, right? If you implement one of them, they're going to stop you from feeling like you're drifting and floating when it comes to your visibility. So let's get into it, right? So I feel like, as I said, many of you struggle with visibility. So I'm doing this series because I know that this year has felt hard for some of you, right? So you have perhaps shown up, you've posted, you've followed what the gurus have said, you've jumped on every trend, you have danced to every song, you have pointed to, I don't know, imaginary things in the ether, right? All in the hopes of visibility, right? Giving your all, your effort, your energy, your time, even your money, right? Because there's investments that often have to happen when it comes to getting visibility, but potentially nothing has really clicked the way that you would have hoped it would, the way that the gurus said it would. Nothing has really clicked. So a part of that is because visibility isn't just about showing up. It's not. It's about showing up in a way that feels steady for you, right? As the business owner. I say this all the time. We are not influencers. We're business owners who are using the online space, if that's socials, if it's emails, if it's video, as a tool to advance our business. So please, ladies, let me know. Like, are you rocking with me? Are you on the we are not influencers vibe and tip? Because yeah, if you are wanting to fashion yourself as an influencer, maybe I'm not your girl. I'm not the right person, because I'm gonna help business owners to use the online space to advance their business, because it's a tool as Excel is a tool, right? So as I've said, it's potentially felt hard, right? And what often ends up happening is that we stop like trusting ourselves to show up because it feels hard. We start to doubt whether we can do this thing, potentially because we're doing the wrong things, right? We're not feeling that we are recognized. We're not feeling that what we put out, people are actually buying into. Potentially, we're not viewed as that thought leader who has trustworthy insights, which you absolutely do, but potentially you're putting it on the wrong platform. So day one's content is all around your anchor being grounded in the platform that you choose, right? But before we get into today's anchor, right, I want to give you a bit of context so the next 9 days make sense, right? So a visibility anchor is something that holds your visibility in place. Think of it as a belt, right? Your belt is going to hold your trousers in place, so it's not falling down. It's going to hold your skirt that's too big in place, so it's not falling down. Visibility do the same for you as a business owner. They hold your visibility in place, and what that does is it stops from floating from one thing to the next, from platform to platform, from message to message, right? It helps you to be grounded, to build recognition instead of just adding to the noise. Because how many of you know online there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of people saying a lot of things, especially with AI, there's a lot happening, right? Jackie says, the only influencing I want is to influence my ideal clients to come work with me. Yes, Jackie. Yes, 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 yes. Exactly that, right? That's the influence that we're going after. We want people to see the value in what we offer, to see that we can bring a transformation, we could bring change for the right people. Not everyone is going to be your person, and we have to be absolutely okay with that. So I can see comments on my mobile from LinkedIn, but they're not coming up here. So LinkedIn people, let me come over, because I don't want you guys to think I'm ignoring you, because I'm absolutely not doing that. For some reason, this streaming tool isn't showing me your comments. All right, so I can see Jennifer. Let's scroll down. Jennifer says, yes, I'm rocking with you. Amazing. I hear you. We're using social media to promote our business, but it's the journey and how we navigate that is the challenging part. I get it. I get it. Guys, can you hear that? My husband has decided. I said to him, I'm going live, so I need you to be quiet. He's like, all right, I'll go in the garden. He has now started, I can hear the hammer drill. Like, who does that? I said, I'm going live, I need you to be quiet. So he finds like the noisiest DIY tool to play about with. Love him to bits, but yeah. All right, so I get it, Jennifer, right? It's navigating the journey, and what was it you said? Our business, but it's the journey and how to navigate that. That's the challenging part. And hopefully, what I'm going to share over these next 9 days will help you with exactly that, right? So even when things start to feel shaky, you start to feel wobbly, or, you know, imposter syndrome starts to speak to you, hopefully you remember one of these 10 anchors and grab onto that, right? So let's get into it. I keep saying that and then I end up down a rabbit hole. So really, visibility and that recognition allows you to combat against this noisy online space that we're in, right? It makes what your visibility looks like, it's less performative, right? And more like a rhythm. You just naturally can show up with a cup of tea to share your insights, to have a nice informal chat and share your expertise, to share what you know, to share stories, case studies. I'm always going to bang the drum for going live. I thought the most like overlooked strategies online, whether that is on LinkedIn or if it's on Instagram, people tend to run away from going live. So yeah, maybe a strategy that you might want to consider. But honestly, right, when you don't have an anchor, your visibility, it just drifts, right? But every moment that you put down one anchor, everything starts to feel more solid. You're more connected. Where you're like journeying to becomes clearer. So even if it's in a small, tiny way, right? I would tell you grab onto an anchor, and it's really wild how things start to come together, and it's almost like you start to build with purpose when you have an anchor, right? So right now I am streaming across multiple platforms, right? So you might be like, but Shalina, you're saying like, what I'm going to get into is about having a platform and doubling down on that platform. So I do want to speak to that, the fact that yes, I am on multiple platforms. You can absolutely be visible in multiple places without having to break your head, without having to break a sweat, right? If you use the right tools, then you can go live in multiple places at once. You can show up on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, I used to be able to stream on TikTok, but anymore. For some reason, they only want gamers to be able to. Okay, so you can go live from the app, but I used to be able to use Restream to stream across multiple platforms, and TikTok was one of them. But yeah, they've changed their policy, right? But you can do that. You can stream across multiple platforms. It's what I'm doing now. But there's a trade-off, right? So time, cost, or reach. My background's in project management. It used to be time, cost, and quality. I've added in reach, right? So if you do want to expand your reach quickly, then it means you probably have to make a financial investment. You're going to have to pay for a tool, some software, some automation. Maybe it's ads. Maybe you pay for ads to extend your reach, right? If you don't have the money, that's okay. You can grow organically, but it's going to take you more time, more intention, and more manual effort. And I know you ladies are not afraid of the hard work. So it's an option, right? If you decide to make it fast and free, will eventually crack. The two just like are like opposed to each other. Like, yeah, how can we do it fast and free? So it's really the strategy that I would recommend, right? It's usually time that you need to invest, having a strategy for rest, because rest is important. How many of you know that? And preserving your sanity. I need for you to preserve your sanity, because how can you show up? How can you serve if your sanity has gone out the window? Let's see what Jackie has said. She said, do those 9 days include the weekends? No. So I'll be here. What day is it today? Tuesday. So I'll be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I'll be back on Monday for the full week. I'll be back on Monday for the full week. Thank you for asking. No, I do go live on the weekends. Remember, I did Saturday school, but yeah, this series doesn't include the weekends, right? So let's get into anchor number one. I said I'm not going to be on long. How long have I been on now? 15. What time did I start? 1:30. So yeah, 15 minutes. And I said, I'm only going to be on for 10, 15 minutes. I need to like be more concise. Anchor one is your signature platform, right? Your signature platform is your home base. Do you have a home base online? Drop it in the chat if you do. Do you have a home base? That's a place where you're comfortable, you enjoy using. right? Your voice feels most natural. It's where your ideal clients are already spending time. Let me know in the chat while I have a swig of this Red Bush. Right, but it's also where your message actually lands, right? I was talking to a lady, and she was saying that on LinkedIn, for her, it feels like she's like shouting into the void. The people are not receiving her message. The value that she's bringing isn't being received. And I'm like, love, go somewhere else. It's not by force. Like, people will say to you, oh, you absolutely should be on LinkedIn. Everyone should be on LinkedIn. No, that's not the case. Not everybody should be on LinkedIn, right? So you go where what you're bringing is valued, people engage with it, you get clients from it. We're in business. We're not here to do the latest dance craze or jump off crates, which was a thing on TikTok at one point. So you go where your message lands. So for me, that is LinkedIn. It's where I feel grounded. It's where, like, I have grown conversations. It's where I can be strategic and like fully myself. That is for me, right? But your signature platform, it could be YouTube. Maybe it's your podcast, or you might have an email newsletter. It's the place where your brilliance, like, can come full force, right? You're not teetering on the edges. You're not kind of second guessing yourself, but also like you're building community. I said not everyone will be your client, but you're building community because there are people who can amplify your message. There are people who will mention your names in rooms that you're not in. So do you have that on the platform that you're on? Right. So where you're trying to be everywhere, you end up being recognized nowhere. Right. What happens is you end up kind of confusing your audience and or exhausting yourself. You feel like you're constantly spinning your wheels and getting nowhere. So your signature platform gives a home to your visibility. It's like the fireplace with the fire. The two things go together. The fire outside of the context of the fireplace is out of order. So where is the right place for you? That place that brings order to your message, that you can actually help people, right? Most of us are service-based business owners, so we are in the business of helping, right? That's how we serve our content, through our insights, through sharing the transformations. So where can you do that, right? Your signature platform ends up being like a rhythm and a heartbeat that you check in with daily. Even if you're not posting content, it's somewhere that you go to and you engage. And the hack for LinkedIn, a lot of people think, oh, it's just about posting and log off same time. Like, don't do that. The beauty, the benefit comes when you engage, when you're a part of the conversation, when you look for the conversations that are happening that are linked to your business. Whenever I do audits, I'm always blown away by the amount of celebratory comments that people, like, literally you can scroll through all of their comments, and every like 10 comments it's like, congratulations, happy birthday, I love this for you. And I'm like, when do you talk about like what you do? When do you add your voice to a conversation that is linked to your service, your business? So yeah, that is just an aside, right? But I would say that people feel that they need multiple places to be, right? They need bigger platforms. You don't, you need one stage, and you need to be brave enough to commit to it, right? So wherever your platform is, that's your stage, and you've got the microphone, right? So inside of the LinkedIn Strategy Lab, that's exactly what I'm helping people to do, to start to leverage LinkedIn as their main stage, as their home base, right? But as your visibility grows, like, you'll get to a point where and when it makes sense, to build out a whole ecosystem, right? And that could be including channels, it could be including email marketing, which I would always encourage you to do from early doors, right? It could be including video marketing. Maybe you start to blog, but LinkedIn for me and the people that I'm supporting is the home base. That's our home stage. So yeah, adding those things on, as I said, when it makes sense, when you've established yourself on your home platform, so that you're not just adding to the noise online. And what you find is that those opportunities for collaborations, for community engagement, they all start to layer on top of themselves. And for me, the foundation is LinkedIn. When you go networking, when you go to events, in conversations, as the conversation's wrapping up, most people are just like, oh, let's connect on LinkedIn. That's generally how the conversations end, right? So those opportunities can come to you when you leverage LinkedIn correctly for your visibility, right? So we don't throw all of those other things, the other platforms, the email marketing, all of that from day one, but we build it when you're ready, right? So we support you inside the lab with all of that. But for today, what I want to do is ask you one simple question. Where do you sound most like yourself? On what platform? Where can you show up authentically? And especially if you work in close proximity, being yourself and showing up in your truest essence is essential. We don't want to catfish. We don't want to put on a facade, right? So where do you sound most like yourself, right? Because that is usually like where your signature platform is, right? And that's where your visibility needs to begin, right? So your signature platform is anchor one, deciding where your home base is. And when you've decided that, all of the other things can happen off the back of that. All right, my friends, I am going to come back and have a look and see, like, yeah, I'm interested. Let me come over to LinkedIn and see what is being said over there. All right, there's no comments over on LinkedIn. It looks as though, are we still live on IG? Yes. No comments over there. Let's come back to YouTube. All right, so Jackie has said, yes, LinkedIn is her home platform. That's your anchor platform. And Leonora has also said yes to LinkedIn. I love that. I love that. And this is the thing, right? I'm biased towards LinkedIn because I'm a LinkedIn strategist. So obviously that's my jam. It doesn't have to be yours, right? You just need to decide based on those things I spoke about. Where are the people? Where do you feel most comfortable? Where are you actually going to turn up and show up and share in authenticity? Where's that going to happen? Because that's where like you need to double down. That's where you need to put your efforts. All right, guys, tomorrow will be shorter. I did a lot of rabbit hole rambling. So I will see you tomorrow for day 2. When I set it up, I'll set it up based on my calendar, obviously. So it may not be at the same time, but these replays will stay up. So you'll be able to go back and watch them. I'm going to give you 10 visibility anchors. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about your signature story and why it's the emotional anchors that people remember, right? Long after they forget what your title is, your bio, your color palette, right? It's the emotional anchors that people remember. So I had fun hanging out with you. I look forward to checking in with the comments if you guys watch it after the live. Janet said LinkedIn will be my platform. I love that. He spoke in the affirmative. It will be my platform. Amazing. All right. So Ruth said, sorry, I've got another call, but we speak later today or tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. I need help with LinkedIn. Come join the LinkedIn Strategy Lab. Lots to say, but no time. Talk soon. You probably jumped off. Thank you for your message. Yes, let's catch up. Jackie said, thank you, Shalina. You are very welcome. You're still on, Ruth. You said rabbit hole rambling. Love it. Yeah, I'm literally in rabbit holes for 80% of my day, doing a lot of rambling. Amazing, guys. You are welcome, Leonora. We're back tomorrow talking about your signature story. So leave any comments if you watch on the replay. Just put hashtag replay. Add any signature platform is. And if you have any questions about anything that I shared in this live.